Charles Grant Blairfindie Allen was a Canadian writer and promoter of evolution. He was born in 1848 on Wolfe Island, Ontario, the son of Protestant minister the Reverend Joseph Antisel Allen and Catherine Ann Grant. He was educated at King Edward School in Birmingham and Merton College in Oxford. After a stint as Professor at Brighton, he went to teach at Queen's College in Jamaica. At this time, he married his first wife, Caroline Ann Bouffay, before marrying his second wife, Ellen Gerard. His first book in 1877 was Physiological Aesthetics, continuing to write on evolution, botany, and insects. Between 1884 and 1899, he wrote around 30 novels, as well as The Evolution of the Idea of God, whose premise was very much not liked by J.K. Chesterton, writing, "It would be much more interesting if God wrote a book on the evolution of the idea of Grant Allen." In 1893, he moved from London to the hills around the Devil's Punch Bowl. He died here at Hindhead, Haslemere in 1899. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was his neighbour and doctor, writing down the final chapter of Allen's last book, Hilda Wade, as Allen dictated it from his deathbed. We shall review his 1897 Kalee's Shrine, a book whose idea was suggested by Mary Coates, of whom nothing is known aside from her having been directed to Allen by Andrew Lang. The story begins in India, where Olga Trevelyan was kidnapped by her Indian nursemaid as a child, who brings her to a Thugee Priest asking the young Olga to be marked as a votary of Kalee, being her servant every night when she falls asleep. Her nurse thus wishing to keep herself connected to Olga even if her parents take her back to Britain. Years later, Olga Trevelyan is a social butterfly in the house of her friend Nora's aunt, the Mrs. Tristram. It is here she is met for the first time by Alan Tennant, a young doctor who very much falls for the mysterious Olga. Soon after finding this out, there is a great shipwreck nearby where the last survivor, an Indian woman lashed to the mast, is seen by Alan sinking into the ocean just offshore with an expression of inhuman agony. And Alan also saw that Olga had seen the whole disaster and was laughing merrily as the woman drowned in front of her. But he also sees she is not awake, as Olga never closes her eyes in sleep and is prone to sleepwalking. The next day he tries to avoid this or any other unpleasant subjects being brought to Olga's attention due to a fragile constitution. However, at a party, an old man known by both, Sir Donald Mackinnon, starts on his favourite subject, i.e. how he and the British government stamped out Thugee worship in India, going into morbid and excessive detail about all the dead bodies they ran into during the process. When someone gets him to stop, Mackinnon still takes Alan aside and goes on about how there is something wrong with Olga. Just as Alan and Olga come to an understanding, Alan has to go out on the river with Nora's brother on a boating expedition. While he is away, Mrs. Tristram is holding a party with a mesmerist for entertainment. Olga does not believe any of the things happening on stage, so Mr. Keene the mesmerist, out of spite, first mesmerizes Nora and then Olga. Nora, being out cold, is unable to relay Alan's command to never let anyone mesmerize Olga due to somnambulist tendencies. Mackinnon is on hand and has Keene suggest to Olga that she is a votary of Kalee and Nora is a sacrifice, and then is surprised when Olga nearly strangles Nora. Mackinnon is satisfied that his hunch was right, and they let the two girls go sleep in the same room, after barely getting them out of trance and giving them a sheesh. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, Nora is found strangled by Olga, and everyone assumes they'll have to rat her out for it to hang, despite the literal suggestion coming from Mackinnon during the trance. It takes Alan arriving from nearly drowning on a mud island to point this out to the self-righteous Mackinnon and Keene. But it's all good because Nora is not really dead. Not a bad story, though it's shifting from Olga's murder confession to several chapters of Alan flopping about in the mud is a bit annoying.